Taylor said, why she got to get a man if I found a good one?
Period. Why?
Why? We can share them.
Why do I need to stress and struggle?
She said stress and struggle is crazy. It's crazy. Taylor said, why she got to get a man if I found a good one?
Period. Why?
Why? We can share them.
Why do I need to stress and struggle?
She said stress and struggle is crazy. It's crazy.
Before
Shalom, shalom, Israel. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto YAHAWAH BaHashem, YAHAWASHI BaHashem, Kwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstones. Shalom to my Akim, Wathim, who are diligently waiting to be delivered from his final captivity, as well as a speckled bird that may look like the other nations, but are actually Yasharallah. This is Brother Kawakab coming at you with another lesson. Exodus chapter 21, verse 10. If he take him another wife, her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage shall he not diminish. So basically the thing here is that a man in general, all right, he is allowed to have multiple wives. That's number one. And one of the things that I guess want to convey in this lesson here is that intrinsically, innately, whatever word you want to use, our not just our people, but people in general are starting to come back into their proper mindset. Now, what do I mean by that? And I don't mean to just take this one-off example and say, oh, well, look at this. Oh, that means that we need to do polygyny and all that stuff. No, I am not dumb enough to use a one-off example, and I don't even think that's what the brother definitely is not doing that. All right, now the thing here that you need to understand is that in general, women have been having that sentiment. I saw this one compilation where there's a bunch of women that were complaining about feminism and saying stuff like, you know what, like, why am I working when I could just be going I can just stay at home, cook food for my husband and stuff like that. I don't need to go get what's it called, debt from college and stuff like that, and put all the stress working a job when I can just be at home, cook, clean, do laundry, all that other domestic stuff, instead of working and doing all this stuff elsewhere. And you know, another thing about this is that there are so many different statistics that these feminists use that say that women are working jobs underpaid, when that could not be farther from the truth. What they do is they ask women, how many hours do you work in at home and stuff like that. Like they ask housewives, how many hours do you work, and then they take that. Like, let's say it's 5 hours, 10 hours a day. Let's just say 10 hours a day of cooking, cleaning, doing whatever. All right. Let's just say that a housewife does that. Then they say, okay, well, this housewife is working 10 hours and she's not getting paid at all. She's just doing unpaid labor. That's just objectively a lie, because I'll say most, because obviously sometimes that's not the case, but most marriages that I know of, when a husband, a normal husband, let's just say your average husband goes to work and just has a housewife, he literally buys her shit or gives her his credit card to go buying whatever. So objectively, that shit of unpaid labor is a lie. That's objectively a lie. And then, you know, another thing is they don't account for all the crap that the women do when they just up and take a man's money in general. All right. So again, like I'm showing you this because I'm saying this to show you just how utterly ridiculous it is that these women, no, not women, these feminists are trying to push out some bullshit ass narrative of, oh, women are oppressed by being housewives, when a lot of women actually do love it, and there are non-housewives that are asking to be housewives. All right, so it is all that crap that people are pushing, talking about. It's genuinely baffling that people even think that this is some type of, this should be some sort of debate when in the workforce. All right, I'm not going to say it always happens because I don't know the statistic on that. I've genuinely never heard or seen it, and even then I would have to question how much, because I don't want to just push whatever narrative to fit my case. Although I would say that I don't really, ideally, not in this society, but ideally, it would be ideal that a woman or a wife does not work in general. She would just be a housewife and leave it at that. I think that's what I think ideally. But of course, in this society, sometimes you need a second source of income, and sometimes that would happen. But in terms of, like, workplace sexual harassment and stuff like that, that's always just some issues in general, especially with all the women reports and the Me Too reports where they lie and stuff like that, when it just should not, things just should not be like that. We should just be focused solely on the men doing the work and all that stuff, and the women being keepers at the house. Let's actually which let's actually get that. Titus chapter 2 verse 3, the aged women likewise, that they be in behavior as becometh holiness, not false accusers, not given to much wine, teachers of good things, that they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husbands, to love their children, to be discreet, chaste, keepers at home, good, obedient to their husbands, that the word of Yahweh be not blasphemed. So this is basically what is to be expected. Basically, the woman's supposed to be at home, of course, and a lot of one thing I will definitely say to an objective on an objective scale, and of course I've seen this even with the women that are actively in the military. As soon as the military draft comes, and then they say, oh, we're gonna be asking for they're gonna be asking for equality and stuff. All that equality is gonna go right out the window, as they say, oh no, I don't want to do that. I want to be a housewife. I want to be this and the third. As soon as they say, okay, well, you want equality, then go and fight for this country. Go die. Go be in the battlefield and all that stuff. Then they're gonna say, like, oh no, I'm just a soft. I'm on my soft girl era and all that shit. Like, nah, any and all that stuff, that's gonna go out the window. And again, simply because that is not being required of them now, then that's where they have all this testosterone to be acting this way, and acting as if they're tough. But as soon as there's no protection, as soon as they have to be actually on the ones on the front lines in terms of just life, the hardships of life that good men, I'll say good men, or men of the Lord more specifically, want to keep them from, then that's when they want to act tough. Because in reality, especially with the men that they deal with, they have the police that protects them. just the simple threat of the police and the bias that the police have, where the police will more than likely 99.9% times out of 100 they will defend the woman. All right, simply because of that, the women have that in their back pocket as their protection, so that they can get away with doing stuff that they normally wouldn't do or wouldn't be able to do if there was no authoritative figure stopping them. All right. Slocky. So as a result of that, hold on, what the fuck? Okay, anyway, just to keep things, the thing I also want to get over here, Daniel chapter 12 verse 10, many shall be made purified and made white. Many shall be purified and made white and tried, but the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand. Okay, so the thing here is that there are just certain things that no matter what, we cannot understand. We cannot understand the things that we want, the things that we need, or just stuff in general. It's always going to be an enigma to us. All right. It's just like, for example, like frogs. For example, frogs are always going to want to eat flies and stuff like that, and they can't say, hey, you know what, I don't feel like eating flies, I'm gonna go eat a steak or something like that. Like that's not how the world works. The Lord ingrained certain things in us, which, you know, there's this one video of this one woman, this Edomite looking woman, where she basically says a bunch of stuff. I don't know if I have it here, but I will try to check it out. She basically said how she here. This woman basically says,
I call my husband daddy in the bedroom and sir when he's handling business. I am a wife, I am soft, and I am happier, better, richer, and more powerful than 99% of the so-called strong, independent women screaming at me online. Here's why. And the data that will never make you settle for a combative woman ever again. Fact number 1. Women who feel led have 4 times more orgasms. Archives of Sexual Behavior in 2022. This is 15,000 women, okay? Found that women in relationships where the man is the undisputed leader report 4 times more orgasms per week, 70% higher sexual satisfaction, and 3 times more likely to actually initiate the sex themselves. Imagine that. What does this translate to? When she doesn't have to be the man, her body finally relaxes enough to flood. Fact number 2, egalitarian marriages die fastest. A 20-year University of Norway study showed that couples who split chores 50-50 and take turns leading have a divorce rate 50% higher than those where the man clearly leads. Why is this? Because the polarity collapses, the tension dies, and the bedroom gets cold. Fact number 3, masculine leadership creates feminine surrender and insane loyalty. It's as simple as that. When a woman feels her man is fully in charge of direction and protection, her oxytocin, her pair bonding hormone, spikes 300%. That is the same chemical that makes new mothers die for their babies. Give her that safety and she will burn cities before she ever betrays you. This is what real submission looks like in my house. He makes the money. I have some side hustles, but when my husband walks through the door, I am barefoot, voice soft, eyes up. I ask, how do you want me tonight, baby? He tells me.
Okay, basically you get the point, okay? So it is because of this, and I find it so funny that I don't know where the fuck do you get studies like this, and how do you, anyway, Esau always studies something like, I don't know, that's just strange to me, but at the same time, it is good to see, it's objectively good that, yeah, studies like this prove that we are intrinsically drawn to a certain way of life. And for stuff like this to happen, and this isn't even just a matter of like one man with multiple women, which that is also a thing, but it also goes to show that just submission in general, the women conforming to the man's needs, the man's desires, all right, that is what leads to, you know, this type of thing, this type of relationships where, you know, these people are happier, and then where both sides are happier as well, where even here this one or these two women were basically talking say, or this one woman was basically saying that, well, her friend was saying, why don't you just share your man with me? Clearly he's a good man, he takes care of you, I'm single, I don't have anyone, yo, just hook me up or something like that. All right, and that's where you got stuff like this. Bear with me one moment. Slovakia, as I was saying, that there you have that intrinsic need from both parties. Oh, I need you to do this, or I need you to do that, and then the the body shows that inherent positive reinforcement that basically says, okay, you're doing the right thing by what's the word? Fuck. You're doing the right thing. You're doing the right thing by doing that. Bear with me one moment again. You're doing the right thing by going through this thing. So the body is giving you that positive reinforcement for what you're doing, rather than letting you, rather than you trying to say, oh, I'm going to do something different or unnatural or whatever. All right. Now, with that being said, let me continue on with these precepts. Jeremiah 13 verse 23. Can the Ethiopian change his skin, or the leopard his spots? Then may ye also do good that are accustomed to do evil. Basically, the thing here is that we can't change what we are. We are supposed to do. We may have, what's the word? Fuck, I'm trying to think of a proper parallel. But the main thing I just want to get is this. You know, can the Ethiopian change his skin, or the leopard change his spot? Basically, no, you can't. You cannot change what you are. All right. We may be accustomed to a certain lifestyle, for like being in Babylon, for example. But you know, the reality of it is that being accustomed to this lifestyle, it's destroying us. All right. You might be, and even with the example, Slakia, even with the example of her when she was saying egalitarian marriages fail faster, like you see these people that say, okay, well, I want to do this and stuff like that, but yet it's just dying out. All right, it's proving that their desires, or what they've grown to understand, where in their marriages, It's like in their marriages. In society, where society says women and men should be equal, men in which they're equal in a way, but they're not equal in terms of like leadership. Leadership, the man is obviously at the top, but the women does have value. Okay, I'm not going to say that the woman is unimportant. The woman is of course important. All right, but in terms of responsibility, the man has more responsibility. The man has to lead. All right, so as a result of that, that's where you got this. You get these not misunderstandings, but this misconceptions of, oh yeah, the man and the woman can the man and the woman can the man and the woman can go along with certain things and stuff like that. No, that's not how the Lord put stuff to be. All right, you can't go against what YAHAWASHI. It's like, for example, let's just say the Lord put it in our mind that we always flip pancakes or something like that. I don't know. I'm just randomly saying some shit. Okay, for you to never flip that pancake, all right, that is, but because you're consciously thinking, I'm not gonna flip this pancake, you do because society told me not to flip the pancake, then you are making it so that, okay, well, the pancake is not going to be fully cooked. One side's going to be cooked and the other side's going to be soft, and you're going to get some sort of disease from eating uncooked dough, whatever. So you're putting yourself in danger by not doing the things that was supposed to be in the first place. You're trying to go against what is natural. All right, and that is destroying you just as it's destroying the people. All right, so let's continue on. Isaiah chapter 4 verse 1. And in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel, only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. And the thing here is that this is a step further, where when Jacob's trouble pops off, when all hell breaks loose, whatever you want to call it, you know, these women are going to start to realize that, oh my God, I shouldn't have done this, or I shouldn't have disrespected my father, I shouldn't have disrespected my husband, I shouldn't have done X, Y, and Z, I shouldn't have gotten my hot girl summer type shit or whatever. All right, I shouldn't have done all that. And then, hold on, let me get that shit. Where is it? Yeah, here. This guy had this dream. I love this dream.
They had no understanding. They literally did not know how to fight in this battle, and they were just all in this. So the Generation Z women, they were telling the millennial men, please marry me. Please marry me. If you don't marry me, I won't survive. I won't be protected. No one will care. Help me. And a lot of the men were turning them down. The men were telling them, I'm not raising you in those babies. I'm not raising you in that baby. And what it was, like, it came to me. Those women were actually, the children were born out of wedlock. They probably normally wouldn't do. I could hear so many different voices. I could hear so many different arguments, so many different disagreements, and so many different denials. And the women were running to the men, and they were telling the men, marry me. I don't care what I have to do. And some of the women even said, I'll be your seventh wife. I'll be your seventh wife. I don't care. I don't care if I'm the seventh one. And so the men were listening, and some of the men would choose as many women as they could. Some of the men chose none of them. A lot of them chose none of those women. And what they were saying was, I can't help you. I can't afford you. I don't want that baby. I don't want to raise another man's baby. I don't want to have anything to do with you. Why didn't you want me when I wanted you? What's going on now? No, I don't need that. But one of the statements stuck out to me. One statement said, I don't want to raise that child because I don't know anything about his father.
So yeah, basically that's what's to be expected, where the thing was like, you have these women that are so proud and malicious now because they have power, and when the tables turn, then that's when the women are going to act soft and feminine and trying to get on the men's good side, but then the men are not going to be taking that. They're not going to accept that. They're going to say like, no, you made your bed, you lay in that. All right, you chose this life. You better stick to what you said, what you did, how you treated me before, and whatnot. All right, so yeah, a lot of these women, they are just going to die. All right, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. That's it. They're just gonna die. All right, and as he said most of the men were just refusing them. I can definitely see that, and you know what? I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be straight up with you. I've been initially in the mindset of, if that was me, I would have to do a heavy vetting process. But I'm not gonna lie, like now lately, I've been starting to see things in the matter of, you know what? I'm just gonna stay by myself. I think I'm good. I think I'm good on that end. Like, YAHAWAH, I think he's starting to put that spirit on me of, fuck all of that. Like, I'm just stay by yourself or stay without. Like, that's just something that I don't know. I just the Wadi YAHAWASHI, because I think that I always knew that was better, because you don't know how these women are acting, and they always have some sort of BS or type shit or whatever in terms of like making trouble. So I'm thinking in my mind, not even in my mind, all right, I feel like it's more so in my spirit that I don't need to have some partner or partners or whatever to babysit. All right, I don't need to be taking care of another woman when the other woman might be problematic. She might come with kids. She might come with not just kids. I don't mind having kids. I want kids, but having another man's kid, I do not. I just don't. I don't fuck with that. I don't like that, especially when I don't know. And the funny thing is, I don't even think he realizes this. But yes, when it comes to raising another man's kid, you do not know what type of man that man was. You don't know what type of tree that kid is gonna come from. So if that man was a demon or problematic or some shit like that, and you're gonna be raising another man's kid, especially a boy. I'm not gonna lie, especially a boy from a demonic ass man. That is not something that you want to be a part of. All right, like that's very like, just do whatever you want. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not trying to teach anyone in terms of like, is it okay to get with a single mother? It's fine, sure. There's nothing against it, but like, me personally, I just would not. All right. Anyway, continuing on. Ecclesiastes 7 verse 13. Consider the work of Yahweh, for who can make that straight which he hath made crooked? All right. Hold on. Bear with me one moment. So basically it says, who can make that straight which he hath made crooked? And if YAHAWASHI made something to be crooked, all right, if YAHAWASHI made something to be a certain way, you cannot go against it. And it's the exact same thing with us, with men and women, where YAHAWASHI made men to be the leaders, all right, and YAHAWASHI made women to be the followers, all right. So this is the thing which the body supports it. It positively reinforced that is the way to go, as per what she had said this woman had said in her through the statistics. Okay, Now, Colossians chapter 3, verse 18, wives, submit yourself to unto your husbands as it is fit in the Lord. And I'm not going to lie, I just want to say one thing, and I'll end it off here, is that it's so beautiful how YAHAWASHI tells us to do certain things, and our bodies literally are made to follow YAHAWASHI, and it shows through the body's responses. Okay, so call Lam La Yabashmashai. With that, I pray this lesson was edifying. I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahawadah, Shem Yahawashi, Hashem Rakwak Wadash. Double honor to the elders and apostles, great millstone, above ball, and shalom.